Hello and welcome to Out of Spec Reviews. This is the updated for 2022 Chevrolet Bolt EV. Today we are going to go through all of the changes Chevy has made to the entry-level Bolt EV. You'll have to forgive me for being behind the camera, but let me take you on a quick tour of all of the changes. First and most notably, the styling. Take a look at this. In real life, these aren't actually blinking. It just happens with LED lights. These are your daytime running lights. They look really good in person. And so here you can see it doubles as a daytime running light and your turn signal. Really good looking unit. You can see your headlights are down here in the bottom, LED units, of course. A big change for me for the Bolt EV is the adaptive cruise control system. So while this doesn't have the same Super Cruise system as its more upmarket brother, the EUV, it at least has adaptive cruise control and lane departure assist, a really much needed upgrade. Coming around the back, let me show you some more of the styling cues. We have a little bit of a light here on the side, an updated daytime running light, or I should say nighttime running light, brake lights. And you know, this is sort of a problem for me because these on the previous gen were your brake lights. No longer. They are now down in the bumper. The previous Bolt also had lights in the bumper, but they were used just when the hatch was open because FMVSS requires brake lights to be shown at all time. So it would switch from the brake lights on the hatch to the brake lights down here. For whatever reason, for styling choices, GM decided to make this just a running light and then put your turn signals and brake lights in the bumper here. I don't necessarily agree with this. I think, yes, while this does look better as a daytime running light in this new updated design, I would have loved to have this kept the brake light and turn signal. The top trim Premier is no longer available in the Bolt. It is now just the 1LT and 2LT. If you want to get more features in a Bolt, you do have to get the EUV. This is positioned as more of a lower market vehicle. It also has a price tag to match at just about $32,000. A really amazing value for this vehicle, I think, considering all of the tech that it has and as well as it drives. Certainly the EUV has Super Cruise and some other nice stuff, but I'm sure you'll be able to pick these things up for a little bit less than the EUV, and I actually think it looks better. One giant upgrade for the 2022 year for both EUV and EV is the addition of a washer fluid level sensor. This is the one fluid you need to worry about most when owning an EV, and now finally GM will tell you if you're running low on windshield washer fluid. In terms of mechanical and hardware, very minor differences, almost none to talk about. One of the biggest disappointments for me, though, is the limited DC fast charging speeds. It's still at 55 kilowatts, which I think is relatively unacceptable, especially for a 65 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now, Chevrolet has increased the AC charging rate. Let me show you that. The charging flap is in the same position, and you can see the J1772 and CCS port. Again, 55 kilowatt peak on CCS, but 11 kilowatt peak on AC charging now, 48 amp, which is really awesome. Really good for especially a lot of Bolts that are used in utility scenarios. For example, my town of Fort Collins uses a whole fleet of Bolts and they're only AC charged, and they drive them all day and all night. So this will really help this faster charging with their operations specifically. For a general user though, probably won't make much difference. In here is where most of the changes are happening. We'll talk about the seats here in a minute, but we can see this new steering wheel with the adaptive cruise control buttons. You can see your distance indicator right there, and that is a really much needed feature. This is a whole new 10.2-inch display and software. It has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Really a welcome addition, and it retains the fantastic Bose sound system that I really like from the previous Bolt. Different materials all around and more soft touch. These door cards are not final production. This is a pre-production car, so you can see, for example, this is not the final material. Those are still coming. I guess the front doors are a little bit nicer, but still not final production. This is, again, very early car. Very nice of GM to grant us access to this. No sunroof in the Bolt EV, and that is because if you want to get the nicer features, again, you have to get the EUV. Also gone is the rear view mirror that turns into a camera in the Bolt EV. Again, an option only on the Premier level of the Bolt EUV. Coming down here, we have USB-A and USB-C charging, a 12-volt. You still retain your sport mode, your lane departure warning, and your traction control. This is the new shifter for the vehicle. park, reverse, neutral, drive. I actually really like that shifter. While it does take up a lot of space, it's very intuitive to use. And then you have an extra button down here, which is your one pedal driving. And I've been able to confirm with GM engineers that it holds the vehicle on the permanent magnet motor. One of the problems with previous Bolt was that the brake lights didn't stay on when you were at a stop. Now they do. So you do one pedal driving to 0 and brake lights stay on. Really awesome, but it is not blending any friction brakes to bring you down to 0. Now they said if you're on a really steep hill and you use one pedal driving, it will actually activate the parking brake. And then when you hit the accelerator pedal, it will release the parking brake. So there is no auto hold or brake hold using the physical friction brakes from the brake pedal. Instead, it uses the parking brake on steep slopes, or for most normal driving, it just holds it on the accelerator pedal with the motor holding you there. The permanent magnet motors have really strong ability to hold the vehicle stopped. These are the new seats available for the Bolt EV. You can see they have a new stitching pattern. They're only heated in the Bolt, but heated and cooled in Bolt EUV. Again, more upmarket options only for EUV. And everyone had always complained about the previous seats in the Bolt. While I was not one of their major critics, I always realized that they were not amazing, and I think it kind of is the same thing here. While sitting in the Bolt EV, I can definitely notice a little bit of improvement in terms of comfort. The seats are great. What am I trying to say? The seats are not great, and yeah, they didn't make them much better. They visually are much more pleasing, though, with this new diamond, I forget what they call it, but they tried to make this seem futuristic. It's fine. It's just, you know, typical seat design. So what do you guys think about the new Bolt EV? I gotta say, I didn't love it in photos, and seeing it in person, it's a huge upgrade, I think, visually from the previous Bolt. As I always say, don't judge me for styling, though. I much more am into the engineering side of things, not so much the actual looks, but I think it looks much more futuristic, and I actually think it looks better than the EUV. I really like specifically this black bar that runs down the side of the car. It comes from the headlights and continues all the way down. Really a nice touch. And the biggest change, obviously, is just that reduction in price. You know, previous generation Bolts have cash on the hood right now at dealers. This being $5,000 less, more than $5,000 less, bringing it in at $32,000 base price, including destination and freight. That's pretty good, really good value, and it's got to be one of the most affordable long distance EVs you can purchase. And I don't think you can go wrong with one. That's a really nice looking car, and the addition of adaptive cruise control seals the deal for me. So thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. We look forward to getting this car for review soon, but I'm glad I was able to bring you a quick walk around. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.